What if the habits everyone calls weird, unproductive, or just strange are actually the clearest signs that your brain is operating at an elite level? Not a theory, not clickbait. Today, we are walking through 10 behavioral patterns backed by real psychology research that scientists have linked to higher intelligence, creative thinking, and advanced emotional awareness. And this is not a feel good list. We are going deep. Actual studies, actual researchers, actual explanations for why your brain does what it does. If you have ever felt like your mind runs on a completely different operating system than everyone around you, stay with me. By the end of this, you will understand yourself in a way you never have before. Habit 1. You talk to yourself out loud. You are mid-task, and without planning it, you start narrating out loud to yourself. Most people feel embarrassed, but here is what is actually happening. Psychologist Dr. Adam Winsler at George Mason University found that self-directed speech helps regulate complex behavior and improves performance on cognitively demanding tasks. When you talk to yourself, you are giving your brain a second channel to process information. It is like running two monitors instead of one. Children do this instinctively when learning hard things. Your adult brain still using this tool means it still needs that extra processing power. Habit 2. Your space looks like controlled chaos papers everywhere. Tabs open everywhere. A mess that somehow makes sense only to you. A University of Minnesota study published in Psychological Science found that people working in messy environments produce significantly more creative and original ideas than those in tidy rooms. Lead researcher Dr. Kathleen Vose concluded that disorder inspires breaking from convention, which frees the mind for fresh solutions. Your brain is not ignoring the mess. It is choosing higher order thinking over lower order organizing. That is a feature, not a flaw. Habit 3. You come alive after midnight. The world winds down. And you switch on? Your thinking sharpens. Ideas come faster. Research published in Personality and Individual Differences found that night owls score significantly higher on cognitive ability and creative thinking. Evolutionary psychologist Satoshi Kanazawa from the London School of Economics calls this evolutionary novelty, the brain pushing beyond default ancestral patterns, which he identifies as a marker of higher general intelligence. Your brain is not broken for staying up late. It is seeking stimulation at the exact moment distraction disappears. Habit 4. You question everything. Someone states a fact and your brain immediately asks, why? How do we know that? What assumption is hiding inside that claim? Dr. Jordan Littman at the University of South Florida found that people high in what he calls epistemic curiosity actively seek information even when it creates discomfort. They tolerate not knowing because understanding is a stronger reward than certainty. Your brain is running a verification process most minds skip entirely. That exact habit is how science works. It is how one person sees what an entire crowd missed. Habit 5. You genuinely prefer being alone. Not because you hate people, but because real solitude is genuinely satisfying to you in a way that is hard to explain. Your default mode network, responsible for imagination, self-reflection, and creative synthesis, is most active when you are not processing social stimulation. A study in the British Journal of Psychology by Kanazawa and Norman Lee found that highly intelligent people reported lower satisfaction the more they socialized. Their explanation? Smarter individuals pursue long-term goals without needing the social reinforcement most people depend on. Your inner world is rich enough to sustain you.
Count how many of those 10 you recognized in yourself. Not kind of. Habits you have had for years. Habits people have noticed. If you counted 3 or more, your brain is not defective. It is not lazy. It is running a more demanding program. Research in the journal Intelligence calls this the burden of intelligence, heightened sensitivity, difficulty with mundane tasks, a persistent feeling of not quite fitting in. That feeling is not a sign something is wrong. It is a sign your brain is hungry for more than average life offers by default. 3 things to do with this knowledge. Stop apologizing for your cognitive style. It serves you. Build environments that amplify your strengths instead of fighting them. And channel your difficult traits deliberately. Overthinking becomes strategy, solitude becomes deep work, random curiosity becomes innovation. Your weird is not a liability. It is an undeveloped superpower. Now you know what you are working with. Closing, drop a comment right now and tell me, which of these 10 habits hit the hardest for you? Which one made you think, that is actually why I do that? If this gave you something real, share it with one person who needs to hear it, not for the algorithm, because someone in your life is carrying these habits right now and wondering what is wrong with them. You can change that for them today. Subscribe for more psychology content that actually goes deep. I will see you in the next one. Habit 6, you get obsessed with random topics. Roman aqueducts one week, quantum physics the next, then cult psychology, then jazz theory. No practical reason, just pure obsessive curiosity. Cognitive scientists call this diversive curiosity, and research shows it predicts creative output in cross-domain problem solving. Every time you learn something in an unrelated field, your brain builds remote associations, the ability to connect ideas across completely different domains. This is the secret behind most great breakthroughs in history. Your random curiosity is not scattered. It is building a neural network that highly specialized thinkers never develop. Habit 7. You overthink and cannot stop. You replay conversations. You simulate outcomes before they happen. You think about your own thinking. This process is called metacognition, and it is one of the highest cognitive functions the human brain performs. Dr. Marcel Weinman at Leiden University found that metacognitive skill is a stronger predictor of performance than raw IQ scores alone, because it allows you to catch your own errors and update your thinking faster. Your overthinking is your brain running simulations, stress testing assumptions, preparing you for scenarios others have not imagined yet. The challenge is not stopping it, it is learning to direct it. Habit 8. Your humor goes over people's heads. You make a joke. Silence. One person laughs. Everyone else looks confused. Research from the Medical University of Vienna found that processing dark or complex humor requires holding multiple interpretations simultaneously, suppressing the literal meaning, detecting the incongruity, and managing the emotional discomfort, all in a fraction of a second. That is extraordinary cognitive work. When your joke lands only with certain people, it is not because you are not funny. It is because that joke required processing bandwidth not everyone had available in that moment. Habit 9. You forget simple things, but remember everything complex. You cannot find your keys, but you remember word for word a study you read 3 years ago. Neuroscientist Dr. Robert Bjork at UCLA calls this desirable difficulty. The brain works hardest to retain information that genuinely challenged it, creating stronger and more durable memory traces. Your brain correctly judges that your keys are low-value information you will rediscover in seconds. Complex, novel, conceptually rich information gets deep encoding because your brain treats it as worth keeping. The forgotten keys are not weakness. They are evidence your brain was storing something far more interesting. Habit 10. You adapt your personality to whoever you are different with family, different with friends, different at work. Some people call this fake. Psychologists call it cognitive flexibility. The American Psychological Association links cognitive flexibility directly to creative thinking, leadership effectiveness, emotional regulation, and resilience. What you are doing is reading social environments rapidly, modeling what others need, and adjusting your communication for maximum connection. The greatest communicators and leaders in history all share this trait. Meeting people where they are without losing yourself is not performance. It is social intelligence at its highest form.